Well, we've looked at whether we had bias in our samples or not, biased or unbiased. And we've also talked about whether survey questions were biased and unbiased. And now we're going to take a look at biased and unbiased experimental design. And the way that bias can be introduced into an experiment is if you do not have two groups that are both random samples, and if there is more than one difference between the two groups, that could introduce bias. Or let's say it again. If we want to avoid bias in an experiment, we want to make sure that both the control group and the experimental group are randomly selected, and that there is only one difference between the two groups, that a change could be observed. We're just looking for that one difference. So we got a scenario here we're going to take a look at. So we got a track coach. He wants to test whether the new shoes that claim to increase speed will produce faster times for his runners. He randomly selects 5 runners as the control group and records their time throughout the season using their normal shoes. And then he randomly selects 5 runners as an experimental group and records their times during the season using the new shoes. At the end of the season, he compares the improvements made by each group. Identify the experiment as biased or unbiased, and if biased, explain your reason. Well, let's see. First up, well, he randomly selects 5 runners in the control group, and he randomly selects 5 runners as the experimental group. Well, both those groups are randomly selected, so that seems good. And then he records the times with the new shoes and the normal shoes. Well, we got one group with normal shoes, and we got one group with the new shoes. So we only got one change that we're trying to that's being observed. And so this experiment would then appear to be unbiased. We would have an unbiased experiment. Very good. 2 groups, randomly selected, only one difference between the 2 groups. In this case, it's the normal shoes and the new shoes, and then times being measured.